Hey, what's going on, guys? In this video we're doing a review of the Logitech Harmony Hub. This is a smart hub for your home audio video equipment as well as other smart home services. So the hub is not only where the brains and everything is processed for the Harmony Hub, but it's also the actual receiver. It has a built-in infrared and Bluetooth receivers so it can communicate with your various home theater devices. It also uses a Wi-Fi connection to connect to your home network. And it's a pretty compact device which fits pretty nicely in a home theater cabinet or setup. Now do keep in mind, as I said, it's also compatible with other smart home services like Philips Hue light bulbs, Stringify, SmartThings by Samsung, IFTTT, Amazon Alexa, Google Home Assistant, and the list goes on. Now the body is pretty bare, but over on the back is where we have a parry button or if you want to reset with something that's connected, the micro USB port for power, and the 1 and 2 ports are for the extended IR receiver. Now over at the bottom you have your serial number and there's cushioning on the left and right side, which is pretty good in case you have, say, a glass cabinet or setup for your home theater products. And this little thing right here is what I was referring to as the signal extender. So the idea here is basically you can keep the Logitech Harmony Hub in an audio video cabinet if you want to hide it, but if you want to still receive the signal, of course, well, you just kind of poke this out from the side. It's really subtle and tiny, so it doesn't really disturb or look too obstructive. So there are different versions of the Harmony Hub to purchase. The one that I have actually comes with a companion remote, which basically it tries to replace all your other home audio video remotes. It actually has buttons you can map with smart home lights or sockets, for example. Actually, you can pretty much map any button you want on here to a custom command. You can really customize it. The texture at the back feels great, feels comfortable in the hand, and it's great for the navigation because the thumb just feels natural where it's placed. It can't substitute, say, your console remotes, as because you're going to need the controllers to play video games, for example, like your Xbox or PlayStation. So the real magic happens within the application. Now you don't have to set it up on a cell phone. You can actually use your Windows computer if you want to, but I prefer the cell phone just because it's easy to be mobile around the house. So you have different sections throughout the application. You have activities, which I'll get into later on, but then you have devices. So setting up a device is pretty simple. Hit edit devices, and then I'll give you the option to add a device. Adding a device is pretty easy because it has its own little internal search engine. So for example, I have an LG TV. So what it does is start by manufacturer, you choose LG, then you put in your model number, and it pretty much just kind of picks it up on its own. So going back to my LG TV example, here what we have is a whole bunch of button commands. So you have a single command to turn it off, turn it on, or a regular power button. You have left, right, up, down, and center. You have a numerical keypad, and you actually have the custom special buttons that come with my TVs. And don't forget that you can add smart home devices from services like Philips Hue light bulbs, Samsung SmartThings, just to name a couple. And it's simple as adding a regular device as if you would a TV. Instead, choose smart home, and then you can have your list of devices linked here. The only problem I have is that when you're adding a device or, say, adjusting your activities, it has to kind of communicate with the Harmony Hub servers. That's the pop-up message I get, so it does make it a little bit sluggish. But you know what? Having the device section is nothing different from a universal remote or having the Harmony Hub remote that comes out of my certain package. Activities is where the real meat of everything is. This is what makes this really unique. So for example, turning on the TV will turn on the TV. Hitting the Hulu button will then make my Android TV and Video Shield go to Hulu application and open it up, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to show you how I actually use my activities feature. So the Harmony Hub is actually compatible with Google Home, IFTTT, SmartThings by Samsung, Stringify, Alexa from Amazon, and the list just goes on. So for this particular activity, I've tied it with Google Home, actually all my activities I have, and what I'm basically going to say in this activity is set the commands to turn the TV and the Video Shield on. Hey Google, turn on the TV.
Starting.
So I have another activity, which let's say I'm in a random application and I want to go back to this home screen and open Netflix. So let's say I want to open up Hulu or Netflix. I did set custom commands to do that because Google has done a terrible job with Android TV. Hey Google, Hulu time.
Opening Hulu.
So what's basically going to do is set some remote commands. I set press the home button, then pause, and then hit down, then enter automatically. This is all hands-free. Google is doing it for me in conjunction with the Harmony Hub. So while I'm here, I want to open Netflix instead. So let me show you how that works, all hands-free. Hey Google, time for Netflix.
Opening.
So it's gonna hit the home button automatically, then pause a second or two, hit down, down, right, enter. And there you go, all hands-free. Pretty cool, right? And you can do the same things if you have, like, say, satellite or cable TV subscription, which I don't have. This one I'm still kind of configuring with my Google Home properly, so I'm just going to activate it from the app. Just going to tap movie mode, and let's see what happens. So you're going to see a whole bunch of things kind of flashing on the screen because I'm basically telling it to go to the audio input on the TV. See, it's switching to external speaker, and the soundbar is now turning on at the bottom of the screen that you guys see. Pretty cool, right? So how do you manage activities? Well, it's pretty easy, but there is a huge problem here. So basically, let's use my movie mode, for example. So what I did was turn on the TV, change the audio output to the soundbar, and the soundbar turns on. So what I did is edit a start sequence. This basically starts the entire sequence. So what I have here is a command that says turn on the TV, then turn on the soundbar. Okay, well, make sure that the TV's on HDMI 1 because I always use my NVIDIA Shield, and make sure that the soundbar is set to optical audio output, so it's connected to the TV. And then start channel, I just pretty much leave that as is. And what I then do is hit a special button that is unique to my LG TV, smart TV rather. And then when it hits that button, it'll delay for a second to give it time to pop up that little window. It'll then quickly hit the red button, which then selects the button to go to the outputs section. And once it opens the output section, it's going to delay a second and then hit direction up, 1 second delay, direction right, and then a delay, and then hit OK to basically select the soundbar. Now that does sound probably a little bit calculated, but it's actually pretty simple. All you have to do is add steps or add a delay in between. So basically what I did was literally do it on my remote and add steps as I was going along, so I knew exactly which ones to hit. Now here's the problem. Every single activity, it doesn't matter which one it is, you have to be forced to turn off the device. These two commands here, LG TV off and the soundbar off, you can't remove them. So I can add all these steps to end the sequence and undo everything I did, but it will always want to power off everything. So let's say I want to switch between my movie mode and just go back to regular TV viewing. Well, it won't do that. It's going to want to turn off the TV and turn off the soundbar, then go back and turn on the TV with the NVIDIA Shield. Pretty ridiculous, right? So some of you might think of being a little bit ridiculous. I mean, does it really make sense that to activate one activity, I have to turn off all the devices, then turn them back on with the new activity? Yes, it's really that bad. And I know there's other options built into the hub system where you can say don't turn off the device, you just ignore that command altogether, but it doesn't really work. And I've tried this with 3 different devices: the TV, the LG soundbar, and of course the NVIDIA Shield, and it has the same problem throughout all of them. Now I spent 5 hours until I figured out it was a lost cause. 5 hours. I spent almost 2 hours trying to fix the issue because there's an option, like I said, that you can disable turning off a device. But I tried it numerous ways, numerous patterns, it just didn't work. I then went to the internet and researched for about an hour and a half, only to realize this can't be fixed. This was intentional. So you can't just say something like, hey, movie mode, and it'll just simply just switch all these little gears and just turn on the speaker and do whatever you want. No, if you have the TV on and you activate that activity, it's gonna have to turn off the TV, turn off the NVIDIA Shield, then turn on the TV, turn on the soundbar and the NVIDIA Shield, and then go through all the switches to switch the input and output. Other people throughout the internet have complained that this is a huge flaw and no one has any idea why Logitech won't fix this, because this is a simple software update. It's been like this for apparently a couple years, but they just don't seem to care. So keep that in mind. Every time you have one activity set and you turn it on and you want to switch to another activity, it's going to turn off all the other original devices. So the last hour and a half I spent trying to fix this issue was kind of a workaround actually, because there's no fix. So what I had to do was set the remote control on the Harmony Hub that the power button for the TV and the NVIDIA Shield is just like a default dummy button. Just hit up. So it won't actually turn off anything if I switch between activities. I'm sure I'll get a bit of hate for the score that I'm giving it that's a little bit low. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm a huge fan of Logitech, but this was horrible. I have no idea why they thought it was a good idea that by switching between activities, you have to be forced to turn off all your devices. It doesn't make any sense. I should be given the option to do that myself. So I hope you guys found this video useful. Be sure to check my Facebook, Google+, Twitter, and Instagram links. Hit that like button, it does help, subscribe, and thanks for watching.